Welcome to Sports Econ 101, the show where we discuss sports topics from a business perspective. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my various co-hosts, Vern Glenn, FP Santangelo Jr., and Russell Jackman. At each commercial break, we're going to ask a sports trivia question, and since we're still in the NFL season, it's got to be the NFL. All right. When we come back,
it is Super Bowl week.
Yes, it is. That's right. And we're recording this show Tuesday. This will air on Saturday, the day before the Super Bowl. So we don't know what's going to happen between now and then. So hopefully nothing crazy goes on where people go, wait a minute, what? Like here, one of the things I was going to talk about Kyrie Irving. Where is he going to be going? And then boom, he's at the Mavericks now.
Yep.
All right.
For now.
Yeah, it was funny, something we didn't cover last time that I thought was really kind of interesting, because we had a guest last time, which was really kind of interesting about. And this has to do with lawyers and Madison Square Garden. I don't know if Russell knows about that story, if you guys know about that story, but we'll cover it when we get back. I thought it was really kind of interesting. And has LeBron beaten Kareem's scoring title yet?
No, it hasn't happened, but it might happen on Wednesday of this week.
Gotcha. Boy, that'll be exciting. And well, obviously we talk about the Super Bowl coming up, Eagles versus the Chiefs. And Mahomes and his leg. Speaking of legs, Steph Curry's leg, kind of figure out what's going on with that. All right.
I'd like to talk about the Kelsey brothers, too.
And the Kelsey brothers, of course.
First time brothers have played in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. All right.
Yeah.
This segment of Sports Econ 101 is sponsored by Pacific Private Money, still providing mortgage investments, currently yielding over 7%. Check them out. It's secured by real estate. PacificPrivateMoney.com. All right, don't touch that dial. We're going to be right back. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown here along with Vern Glenn, FP Santangelo Jr., and Russell Jackman. Okay, guys, last week we didn't cover this. I thought it was kind of interesting. So MSG, Madison Square Garden Entertainment, which operates the NBA and NHL teams' home arena, among other venues and restaurants, has a policy denying access to lawyers who work for firms in active litigation against the company. And sometimes they're using facial recognition technology to do so. It's like, wait a minute, you're suing us for something? No, you're not allowed to come in here.
Wow. Well, their rules. House rules.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem fair, though.
I know I'm wondering, it's like, are they
Although considering how crappy the Knicks are, they might be doing them a favor.
Yeah, that's right. All right. What do you guys want to cover first?
I think there's this little game called the Super Bowl coming up.
Yeah, that'll be watched by a couple hundred people. Sure.
Yeah. And I'd like to talk about the Kelsey Bowl for a few moments.
Kelsey Bowl. Is that what they're calling it?
Yeah. So, well, we have Travis Kelsey.
Yep.
Who is the tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. And you have Jason Kelsey, who is a 5-time All-Pro center for the Philadelphia Eagles. Jason is the older brother. Travis is the younger brother. And when they were growing up in Cleveland Heights, outside of Cleveland, Jason was the responsible one, and Travis was the one that was running around getting in trouble. And the story goes, they had a chance to play high school football together because they both attended the same high school. But Travis, then a quarterback, failed French. And so they didn't get a chance to really play together in high school. So Jason goes on to play at the University of Cincinnati. And he's talking to his brother. He's like, hey, you really need to take a look at him. My brother's really good. Anyway, they go and they recruit Travis. And then Travis joins Cincinnati. That particular year, they go to a bowl game in New Orleans. And Travis went out and partied just a little bit too much. And then, pop, he gets drug tested. Fails the drug test because he had too much marijuana in his system. And they called him in. And they go, what? You're off the team. You're off the team. We can't condone this. You're not part of this program. Bye-bye. So Travis is thrown for a loop. He's like, gosh, I don't have a backup plan. They pulled my scholarship. I'm gonna have to pay for for school. Yeah, I mean, Travis was really in a state, and still a quarterback. So while he goes home, who protects him? Big brother Jason Kelsey. He goes to the coaches and says, "Hey, look, he made a mistake. It was dumb, but I'm telling you, if you give him another chance, then he'll come through." And so the coaches call him in. They go, "Look, we'll have you back. You're on a zero tolerance policy, and we really don't need you at quarterback anymore. Why don't you try tight end?" So Travis becomes a tight end for the University of Cincinnati, and then boom, goes off. I mean, just making dynamic plays, setting all these records. He's just doing great. He makes the dean's list. I mean, he met every requirement that the coaching staff set for him. Anyway, so we get to the draft, and first round goes. Travis doesn't go. Now Travis, he had a dynamic year. Second round, WTF? He's not picked. And then the next round comes. Travis gets a phone call. He looks at the area code. He's like, Missouri. Oh, and at first he thought, St. Louis.
Yeah.
That team sucks. I don't want to. Do I even want to pick up the phone? Anyway, he picks up the phone, and just as he's picking up the phone, I'll just remind everybody that when Jason Kelsey was already in the league.
Okay.
He was already playing for the Philadelphia Eagles. Who drafted him? Andy Reid.
Yeah.
So Travis picks up the phone. It's Andy Reid. And he says, and the first thing Andy Reid says to Travis is, "Are you going to F this up? Are you going to be fully committed to play?" and Travis is like, yeah, he's like fumbling over his words. It's like the last thing he expected to hear. And then Andy says, "Give the phone to your brother." So he gives the phone over to Jason. He assures Coach Reid that Travis is focused. He's going to be one of the best, if not the best, tight end you'll ever have. So he gives the phone back to Travis. So it's Travis and Andy Reid on the phone, and Andy says, "Are you ready to be a Kansas City Chief?" "Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir." So here's a story of two brothers who were very, very close.
Yeah.
And time again, Travis's older brother Jason is there to bail him out.
What's the age difference? What's the age difference? Oh,
I don't know. I don't know the age difference, but I do know the reason why Travis Kelsey wears 87 is because that is the year that Jason was born. 87.
Wow, that's sweet. Wow.
And so here they are. They're in the Super Bowl playing against each other. And now there's some sort of campaign to get the mom to come out with them for the coin toss. Because they think that would just be like a really cool story. So
it was like when Curry played Curry.
I was thinking more like the Harbaugh Bowl.
Oh yeah,
the brothers.
Yep. So the brothers are 2 years apart. I just looked it up.
Okay.
And that was a really, really good story. I think that the Kelsey angle that nobody's really talking about, how do people forget that Travis Kelsey had his own dating show? Do you remember Catching Kelsey? When he invited 50 different girls from each state and he dated every single one of them? That to me is hilarious. I've never seen anything like that in the NFL since. So whenever I think of Travis Kelsey, he's an all-time great, right?
Yeah.
I think he already is an all-time great. I think we can.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. Yeah.
He's a Hall of Famer. It's funny. My millennial brain goes like, "Oh, he was on that really, really weird dating show." That's what he's on. And I think the entire time Vern's talking about this great story, and Vern, you absolutely crushed it, just laying the framework. I'm thinking like, man, not enough people are talking about he was on that weird dating show.
You know what that reminds me of? The old. You guys were too young for this, but there was a show called The Dating Game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I know
Okay,
that.
I'm talking about back in the 60s. And
I actually watched that on the Game
That's-
Show Network.
oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, they used to play the old shows, and I used to watch all the old game
It's
shows.
amazing who Michael Jackson was one
Yeah.
of the
He was one
Pee
of the
Wee
bachelors.
Herman was on
Yep.
it.
wait,
That's
who's that,
crazy.
Russ?
Pee Wee Herman was on it once.
Really? That's good.
That's awesome.
Pee-wee.
Oh my god, they need to do that more, honestly. But yeah, I mean, it's a really incredible story. I wish the mom comes out, right? And I thought I was going to be
That'd be
fatigued,
cool.
but I guess I wasn't. So
Yeah, that'd be cool. Okay, hey guys, we're going to cut to our first commercial break talking about the NFL. While most know Ben Roethlisberger won his second Super Bowl in 2009, who was the losing quarterback that was also going for his second Super Bowl win? Yeah, he's trying to win his second Super Bowl. All right. That's our trivia question. Call, or actually email edward@sportsecon101.com the answer to this question. While most know Ben Roethlisberger won his second Super Bowl in 2009, who was the losing quarterback who was also trying to go for his second Super Bowl win? All right. That's our trivia question. Stay with us. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown here along with Vern Glenn, FP Santangelo Jr., and Russell Jackman. Our first trivia question. While most know Ben Roethlisberger won his second Super Bowl in 2009, who was the losing quarterback who coincidentally was trying to go for his second Super Bowl win? Anybody?
Blank stare.
crickets.
I didn't hear it. Say again? Crickets. Oh, Vern? No? Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner.
Oh yeah,
That's what I was
That
thinking.
was when he was with the Arizona Cardinals. And if you guys remember, a lot of people kind of seem to forget about this. That game was really, really close at the end, right? But if you go back to just before halftime, I believe the Steelers got a touchdown at the just before the half, and it was sort of like nobody. I think it was Kurt Warner kind of like, yeah, I'm not going to really push this guy out of bounds, and that would have been the difference between the win and the loss of a point structure. Go back in time to 2009. Really quickly I was going to ask you, Vern, at the time that Andy Reid called Travis Kelce, how good were the Chiefs then? Because I don't think they had a good team then either, right? No, I can't hear you.
What?
No, now we
It
can.
says my microphone's on.
Now we can hear you. The
Yeah.
first words we couldn't hear.
He had not been too. This was in the earlier stages of building the Kansas City Chiefs. He had been let go by the Philadelphia Eagles and was immediately snatched up by Kansas City.
Huh.
So I don't. If they're hiring a new coach, chances are they're starting from scratch.
Yeah. Because I was going to say, you said he was thinking the Rams. I don't want to go to the Rams.
But besides Reed, I can only think of let me think, maybe John Gruden. I'm talking about a coach of a current Super Bowl team coaching against his old team in the Super Bowl.
yeah.
Doesn't happen very often.
That's right. Yeah, Gruden. Yeah. Yeah, I guess Don Shula never had that situation. Really, guys, really quickly, the flag football Pro Bowl. I was looking at some clips of Peyton Manning getting upset because I guess some rule with kneeling down is not allowed or something like that, and it kind of reminds me of me. It's like I get really competitive for little things like that because it's just I'm not a bad sport per se, but it's like, no, come on, this is serious stuff here,
Are you a bad loser?
No, actually, I'm not. I mean, as long as it's fair. Right. And that's why I could relate to Peyton Manning. It's like, wait a minute. No, if I lose because I lose, okay, that's fine. But I don't want to lose because of like some stupid rule or cheating or whatever the thing is. Yeah. I mean, listen, I lost a lot of times, be it bowling or playing basketball or whatever.
Well, that Pro Bowl day, it was an interesting week. I mean, there were the 49er players, they were into it. And it was a showcase for Derek Carr on the skills competition. So, and then I guess Carr just couldn't. Carr, who has just been Mr. Raider, model employee, won't say anything controversial, rah 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 Raiders, and then And then just like the little zinger at the end on an interview when the guy asked him about how hot he was in the competition, and it was in Vegas. He goes, "Wow, man, but you were hot here in Vegas." And then he says, "Well, not hot enough. That's why I'm looking for another team."
That was a really good quote. It's
So
really good.
is this gonna like be a new sport that takes off?
Well, flag football has been growing in popularity and they've been talking about it, but I think the clip of the weekend, and I think we can all agree, is when Jalen Ramsey forgot he was playing flag football and he absolutely leveled Tyreek Hill
Yeah,
at the end of a touchdown.
laid him out.
Laid him out, threw his shoulder right into him, and then everybody on the broadcast kind of chuckled nervously, hoping that Tyreek Hill was okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, you know what, everybody is kind of poo-pooing it a little bit. They're like, this is ridiculous, blah, blah, blah. What are we doing? I thought they did a lot of creative events, and I think it was definitely a positive. Everyone's talking about it, right? And they're not just completely saying like, oh, why are we even playing the Pro Bowl? Like, there's some discussion about it. There were some viral moments. I think it was a positive. So I think this is a step in the right direction. I like the creativity. I feel like more leagues should do stuff like this. Why not? Like leave your comfort zone and let athletes be athletes and show their personalities. They did a great job this weekend, I thought.
And girls are having their own flag football leagues.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all positive stuff. It's all great. Anytime that you're outside and you're playing sports and you're with your friends and you're building team camaraderie, that's a good thing, right? So all positive.
My problem with it is kind of hard to tell when a flag has been taken on TV. You know, you can tell when someone gets knocked down and their knee is down and they're down. But on TV, it's hard to see sometimes the flag's been pulled off of somebody that you know that they're down.
I agree, Russ. And you know what I was thinking the whole time? They should have had like white pants or something, or white uniforms.
Well, no, what they could do, in my opinion, is they could put electronic sensors on the flags. And when they get disconnected, then, you know, it shows up on TV that, you know, X person has had their flag taken off, you know, or some other way of like showing that there's been contact and that the person does not.
Well, I'll tell you the scandals I can already see. It's just like when I played flag football as a kid.
You didn't grab my flag.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that so there are two things that the guys would do. I never did this, but guys they'd either like tie it.
Yes.
Tie it, right? And then the other thing is they'd stuff it in a little bit more so that the flag was only about 3
they
inches.
just guard it. You know, they'd slap the guy's hands away when guys would be, you know, trying to grab the flags. You know, you'd have the flag guarding.
Yeah,
you know,
I think it's okay. I think you're allowed to do that.
It's just like if we're playing in PE or if we're playing an intramural, right?
Right.
Okay. I one time played in an intramural league and it was way too serious. People came out with like cleats and like sticky gloves and all that stuff. I was just there in my tennis shoes and I was playing against all these frat boys. I still ran it up on them, of course. Like I was catching everything. I was talking crap, and that's when I knew I couldn't play intramural because I'm a short little Italian guy. I run hot, so I was letting them know I was making them my son all day long.
I like George Kittle's touchdown. I think it might have been the first touchdown of the game, or the second touchdown of the game, where he kind of caught the ball and just kind of like wiggled and kind of moved so you couldn't grab the flag, and he ran in for a touchdown.
There you go. Do a little spin move there. Okay, so
but the league is really heavily invested in the NFL. The league, as you know, $14 billion a year corporation. So the league is behind flag football for kids.
Yep.
Oh, good. Okay, I like that. How's Mahomes' leg? Because to me, that's going to be the major. Really? Okay. Thumbs up on FB.
They have drugs that we don't even know about that he's not going to feel a thing or even think about it. So he's going to be good. He's going to be fine.
He's going to be good. I'm sure that they work on it every day, keep it loose, whatever. And then, whatever injection he needs to take on the day of the game, he will take it. And
he'll get 20 weeks off, you know, so he'll have enough time off after this game to recover. I got to tell you, though, you know, it's interesting that you brought up the 2009 Super Bowl, because that's the last time I was this nonplussed about the outcome of a Super Bowl. Was 2009. I didn't care whether Arizona won or Pittsburgh won, and I don't care if Philadelphia wins or Kansas City wins.
But you're
As
still
a
going to watch
Niner
it.
fan,
Yeah, but you're still going to watch it, aren't you?
yeah, but mainly as an event to watch with my friends, not
Yeah, of course.
to be there with my friends. Not I really do, if the game ends in a 0-0 tie, I'd be fine.
You're not going to bet on who gets the first touchdown or
Coin toss, that yes, I think
coin
the
toss.
toss means more to me than the actual outcome of this game.
Okay,
For a Niner fan, it's the worst case scenario.
I'm with Russ to a degree. I mean, normally for Super Bowls, I'm either working or I'm at home. I would prefer to watch it in an environment where I can really watch the game. So I don't go to Super Bowl parties. Don't do them.
Yeah.
Don't like them. Can't stand them. There's just too many distractions. So, but
People care too much about the damn commercials.
But for the, I think the halftime show is bigger than the commercials now.
I've never seen a halftime show. I always go outside.
You go back and look.
Some of them are pretty good.
The top rated moments in the Super Bowl have always been the halftime shows. It's not the commercials anymore.
Well, I got to say, Bruno Mars did a great job a few years ago.
And Beyonce and Coldplay, all at Levi's Stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Just
There's
don't
been
do
a lot
it.
of great halftime shows. Vern, that doesn't surprise me at all that the huge spike is right there because it's a lot of relatable artists. They're always mega stars, and everybody around the world is tuning in.
Yeah, because sometimes some of these commercials are getting a little bit, they're not as good as they used to be. And some, I mean, every once in a while they'll get a few good ones, but they seem to have kind of fallen off the cliff. Okay, you
I
guys
remember
ready for a second?
when Prince performed,
Yeah.
it was raining, and they went up to him and they were like, yeah, it's going to rain. Do you have a problem with that? And Prince just simply said, "Make it rain harder."
I like that. That's great. That's
when Weird Al gets to do the halftime show. When Weird Al.
Hey, now that would be good. I like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
then I'll do it.
All right, you guys ready? Here's our second trivia question. After much criticism for having quarterbacked 3 previous losing efforts in the Super Bowl, he finally broke through and won 2 in a row. I'm not going to tell you what years. Okay.
Yeah, I know who that is.
I figured this was a little bit easier. All right. Email Edward at sportsecon101.com the answer to that question, and don't touch that dial. Sportsecon101 will be right back. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. One more time, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn, FP Santangelo Jr., and Russell Jackman. I just got to do it in that order because that's how you guys appear on the screen. Not in importance. Okay. After much criticism for having quarterbacked 3 previous losing efforts in the Super Bowl, he finally broke through and won 2 in a row. Who are we talking about?
Good old horse teeth.
Good old horse teeth?
Horse teeth, yes.
Horse teeth, yeah.
John Elway.
John Elway.
Yeah.
John Elway, yes, 1998, 1990.
That's what I've always called him, though. Good old horse teeth.
I still remember him coming from Stanford and him saying, "Hey, Indianapolis Colts, if you draft me, forget it."
It was the Baltimore Colts.
Oh, but it was the Baltimore Colts back then. Yes. He says, "No, I'll just go back. I'll just go into baseball." Because he loved baseball. Yeah,
I know that is one of the great what ifs. If he had ever played baseball, what he would have done.
Mm-hmm.
Yankees had him, right?
And Patrick Mahomes. That guy played baseball too.
Yeah.
His dad did as well. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Yeah, like 11 years in the bigs, something like that?
Yeah. Really, really funny moment. My dad, one day, I was just watching TV with him. And he's like, we're watching, I think he was playing at Texas Tech, correct? That's where Patrick Mahomes is from. He's like, oh, I played against his dad. He's pretty good. And then he ends up becoming the best quarterback in the NFL, probably maybe top 5 when it's all said and done, but we'll see. Crazy moment.
I have 2 agenda items I wanted to bring up. One is, have you guys heard about the Hamlin conspiracy at all?
Yeah.
No. Well, what?
That everyone's favorite idiot, Aubrey Huff, is spearheading this conspiracy that he believes that Hamlin is dead and that the NFL has faked his recovery, and that he's actually, in a morgue somewhere or in ICU, hooked up to machines, and they've hired actors to pretend like that's him, and that it's a giant conspiracy because they're afraid to show that he actually got really hurt, and they're going to wait to release the fact that he's dead after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so it started out as a meme, right? It was a joke because remember when it was snowing so much when he came back to Buffalo that you couldn't really see him? So they're like, oh, that's a paid actor. A lot of people were joking.
Wow.
And then I guess people ran with the conspiracy, but yeah, that
I
guy
heard that the same thing about Joe Biden, that they're not that he's dead, but that they're hiding him somewhere, and they've got some fake Joe Bidens out there.
it's silly.
Playing cards with Hillary Clinton's body double.
Yeah, that's right.
I think the best way to lean into it was how Arian Foster did. And I don't know if you saw his podcast. He said that the NFL is completely scripted. He had a straight face on the entire time. It was all sarcasm, all satire. And he was just going throughout his day how he gets the NFL script in his locker, how they really practice plays so that way they can throw games. They get the results. It's like WWE. It was really funny. He just kept a straight face and everybody around him's laughing. But that got clipped and went on the internet, and everybody's like, "Oh, the NFL's really scripted."
So let me ask you, if that were the
he's
case,
really serious about that.
Yeah.
if that were the case, how would the parents keep that under wraps?
There's no way.
There's no way. I mean, it's funny. There's actually there's one of the guys who got in trouble for Watergate years ago. He basically said, we couldn't even keep this alive for like 30 days, and he goes, and this was like really important stuff, so it's like, that would be really challenging to find out that
Think
way.
about it. We can't even keep our mouth shut when we hear good news, right? Imagine like normal people and Vern hears it all the time in media. You hear things, you're like, oh boy, this is going to get out. I'm not going to break this story because I don't want to touch this, right?
Yeah.
And it happens all the time.
A lot of times I can't run with it because I really can't substantiate it with two credible sources. So
I have a second agenda item, and that is I'm featured in a documentary on YouTube about
tell us about it.
My friend who unfortunately was a great wrestler who died, Mark Bison Smith. If you look up Bison Smith documentary, it's made by Jesus Cruz and Paul Pontes, who Jesus Cruz has done a number of Hispanic American documentaries. One of them's up for an award, and I hope this one gets up for an award. But you can see me in action and what I've done as a manager of the Bison Smith documentary. It's called Bicentennial, the memorial of Bison Smith, the true story. And it's really it's about an hour, and it's a wonderful film about a guy that was very close to me and a really wonderful friend. And I definitely miss him very much. And his tragic story about how he died at age 41, not to be a spoiler alert, but
so it's already out. You can YouTube it.
Yeah, it's out there on YouTube. You can see it now. If you are interested in the link, I can send it
go
to
ahead
you guys.
Send us the link. I want to see that.
Yeah, I think you guys would like it. So
what's the
I
name
just
of
wanted
it
to get
again?
that out there. I'm sorry.
What's the name of it again?
It's Bison Smith Bicentennial, Bisontennnial, and the true story of Mark Smith.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to check that out.
Awesome.
I would appreciate that, guys. Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry for your loss, Russ, but that's really cool that they're able to pay a tribute like that.
It was. It's a wonderful documentary about his life and about how he played for Colorado University, and then when he started working for All Pro Wrestling, and then became part of Ring of Honor, and never quite made it into big here in the United States, but he was big in Japan and big in Puerto Rico. So anyway, it's not to stop the show or anything like that.
No, that's okay. Go ahead, FP.
Well, I was just saying we can't miss out on the big NBA trade news, right?
Yeah.
As much as a lot of people don't like this guy, Kyrie Irving got traded to Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah.
And kind of a huge blockbuster trade, and that opens up a lot of possibilities for Kevin Durant being traded now.
Yeah.
Utter chaos, and I think we got to talk about this every single year, but the defining thing in the NBA is just the drama, right? The regular season doesn't seem like it really matters game to game. Maybe just here and there you'll highlight some stuff, but
Sure.
it's always what happens off the court and with the trade deadline where he gets all its ratings.
Well,
And-
I thought what was interesting specifically, so Kyrie goes to the Mavericks, and then Cam Thomas, it's only his second year in the league, scores 91 points in 2 games
Yeah.
for the Nets. And if you watch this kid, I mean, you can see the talent. I mean, it kind of reminds me of Kuminga a little bit, Jordan Poole a little bit. But I mean, you can just watch him in motion, and it's like poetry, So you can tell he doesn't get hurt, and he keeps his head on straight. He's going to be a superstar.
Hey, kind of in a low-key way, Jonathan Kuminga already has 1,000 points.
Whoa!
In his career,
He became the youngest Warrior player ever to score 1,000.
Whoa!
So that's good news.
Isn't that amazing?
That's
They're
amazing.
going to need it with Curry being out for maybe 2 or 3 weeks and missing the All-Star break and all that stuff. So
Is it only 2 or 3 weeks he's going to miss?
at least.
Well, they're saying at least through the All-Star break, and then they'll reevaluate him. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
So I wonder how many people are not going to watch the All-Star game because of Curry not playing.
And a lot of people internationally.
Think so?
At least.
Wow.
We don't think about the international audience, but they love that guy.
I don't really like the team captain concept. I like it, the East-West divisions. It's harder to tell who's on what team, especially once they start playing, because you don't really know that you don't have those split divisions of East versus West like you usually do. So I don't like the team captain concept. What do you think?
I think they should play flag basketball.
Yeah. I tell you,
It's usually got better dunks than the dunk contest.
That's true.
That's true, yeah.
absolutely.
I mean, I used to really look forward to the NBA All-Star game, and then it just, I don't know what year it changed, but it's like nobody played defense. I get it, nobody wanted to get hurt and all that.
Well, you got 10 guys on the floor, and they're all making business decisions.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
far as
Agents
hard play, contact, and all that kind of stuff. So
The only thing that's really fun is the 3-point contest. That's that.
Yeah.
Now that is fun, and there's some real suspense to it. And, that's got, guys take it seriously, but the dunk contest is just awful. That has turned into just, almost like watching, your kid trying to impress you by jumping off the diving board and saying, "Hey, dad, wait, watch me. And then, they fall off the diving board.
One of the
And,
problems is that there's only so much variety you can do.
And they're really trying too hard now to be cute.
Yeah.
Every one.
Hey, Edward, I'll tell you what, go on YouTube and go watch some guys in Harlem do a dunk contest. That variety answer is gonna go out of the way because there's people that are so damn creative out there, but the best dunkers just practice it all day. These NBA players are practicing like passing, shooting, running plays. They're a complete basketball player, but
how come
there's people on YouTube that should be in the dunk contest. And I think that should be the way that
would be a great idea.
because all they do all day is practice dunks, and they are the best dunkers in the world. Because
And some NBA players can't watch what these guys are doing and go, let me see if I can do that.
I think it'd be awesome, and it would blow up their channels. It'd blow up all their social media. I think they should take in these.
That's a great idea.
That just
for a while they had the professor and all that with the going around the street ball and all that.
And one
They bring back Spud Webb. I mean, to watch that.
Exactly. That's the thing is you don't have any big names doing the dunk contest.
No.
When it started, it was guys like Jordan and Larry Nance and some of the guys that you really knew were the greatest dunkers in the league. Now they try to get a bunch of small forwards, a bunch of guards, shooting guards to do it, and you don't really have the guys that you know are the best dunkers actually getting in there and trying it. You don't if you look at the winners of the last few years, Obi Toppin, please.
Okay, yeah, but so are they afraid to get hurt? I mean, why aren't they in there?
No, they want to try to push lesser names and get them to be famous.
Well, also the guys that the big stars, they've kind of been there, done that. I mean, what do they have to prove? And they're on to just.
But one of the most iconic images of Jordan. One of the most iconic images of Jordan is
Yeah.
him jumping from the free throw line and dunking it. And that wasn't in a game. That was in the dunk contest.
Yep.
Good
Yep.
point.
And you know what's crazy? LeBron's never done one. I think that's
Nope.
an absolute travesty. So if you want to do the MJ versus LeBron debate, I'd hold that against him. Like, come on, man.
You know,
you're
I
making
wonder
it fun.
if it's like, it's not that he's been there, done that, but it's like, all I can do is just look like I'm failing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
he looks at it as a lose-lose situation.
Yeah.
I think that's a bad mentality to have, right? Because at least you're putting on a dunk show for people. So.
No, it's like,
You put
you know,
in
Ted
LeBron, you
Williams.
put in-
Yeah, hold on. Ted Williams, his last game, it was like it was a double header, and he was a little over 400, like batting 401 or something. And people said, just sit out the game and you'll bat 400. He goes, no, that's not how you play baseball. And he went like 6 for 7 or something, and raises like 403. Okay, hey guys, going to our last commercial trivia question here, talking the Super Bowl. This former Heisman Trophy winner had the longest wait between win number 1 and win number 2 in the Super Bowl. Having quarterbacked the winner, I'm not going to tell you the years. I'm going to see if you guys can get it from just that. He was a former Heisman Trophy winner, and he had the longest wait between win number 1 and win number 2. All right, and he was a quarterback. I'll give you a hint on that. All right. Okay. Stay with us. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back with some closing comments. Don't touch that dial. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vernon Glenn, FP Santangelo Jr., and Russell Jackman. Our third trivia question on the NFL Super Bowl. This former Heisman Trophy winner had the longest wait in between winning numbers 1 and number 2.
Peyton Manning?
No.
Roger Staubach.
Roger Staubach. Very good. 1972 and then in 1978. Very good. Peyton Manning, well, that would have been a good guess. I would have liked that. All right, guys. Any last thoughts before we go to our thoughts for the day?
We got to do predictions.
Well, you got to pick Super Bowl winners.
Yeah.
Eagles 27-24.
Chiefs by a lot.
Wow.
I'm
basing it on Mahomes being hurt.
By the way, did you see what Brandy Ayuk said about the Philadelphia Eagles? About, they didn't really have a chance because it wasn't a fair, not a fair fight in the NFC Championship game. And he questioned how effective the Eagles defense really is, and he thought that they could be exposed.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
That said, I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay, Russ.
I'm going to go with the Eagles, but if it's a 0-0 tie,
I know you said you don't care. Okay, guys, here's our thoughts for the day. So years ago, I lost my job at the bank on the very first day. A woman asked me to check her balance, so I pushed her over. That's not a good idea. And did you hear about the mathematician who's afraid of negative numbers? He stops at nothing to avoid them.
Nice.
And want to hear? No, this was really bad. Okay, want to hear my joke about straws? Never mind. It sucks. All right, tune in next week too. Oh, we got 2 guys laughing.
That's good.
Russ, did I hear you laughing?
No.
No.
I'll let you know.
He's an attorney. Everything's too serious for the attorney.
I'll let you know.
All right, tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. We're going to be discussing sports topics from a business perspective, asking more sports trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Adios.
So long.